Happy Rails to you. Welcome back, my friends. Happy Rails to you. It's good to see you again. Happy Rails to you. Please keep watching in. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. It's GMan, My World 67. Gosh, it's been a while again since we did the last video. And what I have here today is the Canadian Pacific. Oh yeah, that 391. I promised you an update on it, and I had hoped to had the layout finished or near finished by now, and at least having a lane of operation going. But I haven't really worked on that layout much since I made the double station, the upper and lower. It's just been kind of hot off and on and bad weather, and haven't felt much like going out and working on the layout. But what I have for you here today is this Canadian Pacific. I want to go back and finish it up. I have the smokestacks for it now. I thought I had stacks, but I didn't have any, so I had to order some and then wait for them to come in. And so they're in, and we're going to put one on it now. Then I have another project for you that I've been toying around with for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And it's another Canadian Pacific, but it is the so-called gold or copper train. And I'll let you see it just as soon as we get this stack in. Okay. Now they make these stacks, you can get, sometimes you get lucky and you get the original, and sometimes you don't and you buy the reproduction. This is one of the reproduction units. Show you here. Real simple to put on. We're going to, but first, before we even begin to put that on this particular train, the stack is not black, it is chrome or silver. And I was supposed to have gotten a silver one, but it didn't happen. So what we're going to do for now is we're going to take this silver permanent marker, need my tweezers, I guess. And we're going to just cover this real good. with this silver marker. Like that. Now, is it going to match the domes? No, not perfectly. But it will be silver, and later on I may go back and strip it down to bare metal and shoot some clear on it. Or I may not. But for right now, we're just, for the sake of saving time, we'll just use the marking pen on it, and which will last unless some kind of chemical gets on it to take it off. For just about, well, years anyway to come. So we're going to take these screws out of this motor that I mounted in here of the post-war 999, I believe it was. Now there was one thing I was going to do. And I just thought about it. I hadn't gotten it done. And that was, I was going to put a plastic insert in under this smokestack. But I forgot to make one for it. So I'll do that at a later date. Now what I'm doing is I'm bending these tabs down a little bit. When you do this, you want to make sure you don't put any kind of crease or crimp in them. You just want to bend them down slightly, well enough so that you can get them in to the slots on the top where the smokestack hole and mount is. And just bend them down. Don't be afraid to bend them. Just don't bend them too fast, and like I say, don't bend them too hard. Almost there. I can maybe squeeze it and get it in there. Let's see. Not quite. That should do it. All right. Set it in, and then you turn it over. And bend those tabs back against the top of the engine boiler on the inside of the shell. Most times they cooperate without any problems, but sometimes you get a little resistance, especially on the new ones. It's hard sometimes to keep your screwdriver when it's on flat to there we go. He is being a little challenged today. Something a little wider tip on it. There. So you just push that down, and it's assembled, it's tight, and that's basically all there is to it. Put your motor back in. I need to remagnetize my screwdriver. Oftentimes my fingers just don't want to work together anymore. And just snug them up. Try never to over tighten your screws. Just snap one off or strip out your hole or strip the thread on the screw. And there you have it. Now, I see a spot right here, and you probably can't see it from the camera, but I did that with the stack itself when it slipped trying to get it in there. No problem. Just take your trusty permanent marker, touch it up, and it's a done deal. Now, kind of go over it a little more. And because this was previously painted black, this particular silver marker goes on and it comes out a little dark, almost as if it were like a dark silver or a gray. But once it completely dries, it'll be kind of shiny. But it will never be as shiny as these. But that's good enough. And there you have it. The finished 391. Now, is it back to its original state? No. It does not have an original motor in it. Everything else is original except for the smokestack. So now it's kind of a pre-war, post-war engine because it has a post-war motor in it. You remember the tender that I fixed the coupler on. And there you go. All right, I'm gonna set this aside because I've got another project that I've been working on, and I just finally got a motor built for it, rebuilt. It had a similar problem to the original motor that one did, and I went through my parts again, trying to find parts there, and I thought maybe since that had done that and I was using the other motor in the 391 that I could maybe scrap the parts off of, grab the wheels off of it and put it on the 397. But unfortunately, they both needed the same parts. Kind of unusual. So I'm wondering if those particular engines, what the problem is metal fatigue on the wheels. And so now I'm wondering if those particular engines had that problem or not, or was it just due to certain climate areas? But anyway, I don't have the proper wheels for those right now. And I do have some wheels coming. They're not the pre-war wheels, but they will work. So we'll see what goes on with that. But in the meantime, I have a double reduction motor out of, I believe this came out of a 1666. or a 666. And this motor was in pretty bad shape, and I had started rebuilding it one time, didn't finish it. I was actually building it for another project, and I finally ran across it on yesterday, and I put it back in the box, and then I realized, hey, I can use that in my 396. So let's take a look at this 396. I don't believe I showed it to you before. Okay, this 396, when whatever time I had got it, received it, it was pretty scratched up, missing paint in places. I redid the surface areas with black. I redid these steam chests on the side, and redid the caps, the domes, and the boiler front, and the scones. I also touched up and redid the inside of this plate and some of the red around the outside of it too. Both sides. Now, this high polished brass or copper tone that everyone calls it, some call it a gold tone, and it does look kind of goldish, is impossible to reproduce. I've tried to reproduce it times before in the past. I've tried a kind of yellowish clear varnish or shellac, and put over the shell itself after the shell had been sanded completely down to bare metal, and on another engine and that I had, and it did not work, just on a standard Canadian Pacific. So this time, this one had a number of scratches. So what I did is I found a gold paint that was very close to this goldish color. Now you can still see where it's been touched up, but it looks 100% better than it did. And after I touched it up, got everything done, I went back and shot 3 coats of clear over it. So it should last for a number of years. I usually put them in the oven and bake them for about 15 to 20 minutes, which causes the paint, the enamel or the acrylic to set. And then if you take it out and you run cold, clear water over top of it, it hardens. But I didn't do that with this or the 391. So 3 coats of acrylic, clear acrylic on it, and let it dry for about 4 or 5 days. As hot as it's been around here, should have done the process. So there it is, 396. I don't know if you can see it or not. Notice this 396 is missing smokestack also. And I don't know why, but that seems to be, I was looking on eBay at them, and most of the ones have seen on there were missing smokestacks also. Now, this 396 is also missing the headlight. It came in two ways. As this is actually newer than the 391, when they came to the 396 and some other models, they didn't all have the dimpled lens. Some of them had a clear lens. So what I have here is my old trusty knobs. These are stick-on knobs, bumpers, they call them. You put them on the bottom of legs on your computers or your appliances, whatever you have that you don't want to scrape up your tabletop surface. And they work. I had put the package back up and I'd have to dig it back out, but I think I've showed it to you before in earlier videos over the last year or two, and they really work great. Now, what I would normally do is take this lens out, this dome out, and put this in behind it. But I'm going to these are self-adhesive. Boy, they're sticky. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to press it in from the back side. And the reason for that is because, matter of fact, I'm going to have to cut this one down just a little bit since I'm putting it in from the back side. So what we do is just go around that wide bottom surface part and just cut just a little bit off of it. Keep it as round as you can so you can stay with the form of the light. There we go. Turn your engine up, your shell, place it in the hole, I think I cut too much off of it. What I'm doing is I'm putting it in sideways and it's falling through. There we go. So I'll put it in from the front where I can see what I'm doing. Now, I might have cut just a little bit too much off of that one, but it's okay. And what we'll do is we'll take some glue and we'll put around the outside surface of it and it'll sit right in place. All right, so see if we can get that back out of there. It's actually fitting pretty good. There we go. Take some of my trusty testers cement. Be easier, probably. Put it on the lens. Yeah, we'll put the lens back in there. See if I can get it out just a little further. There we go. Okay, so now we'll put the smokestack in. And we'll do it like we did the other one. Bend these ends down. Now, as you can see, all your external accessories on this engine are black. So your domes are black, your scones are black, so your stack is black on this engine. Boy, almost so close and so far away. Once again, we take the engine, we turn it over. We're going to use the pliers this time. It's got a wider surface on it. And what I should have did the first time on the 391, and we're done. Next, I need to change this out. I can use this one, but it's a lot better if I change this one out. All right, so bend these, straighten them up. Got two tabs here. Straighten them up, and then this just pops off. You take this one and put it back on. Now, let me say this. There are several different types of these. Okay. It depends on whether they have a front pony truck or not. And if they have that front pony truck, these will have holes in them or slots. Now, as I said, they'll have these holes or slots on the bottom side of this, and that's for your pony truck. On these engines, and I went back and I re-researched them because I wanted to make sure, as I had it the way it came, and I didn't know if some of these 396s had front and rear trucks on them or not. For sure, I didn't remember. So I went back and researched it, and they were 040 engines. And this is the original steam chest for your rods that came on this engine. It came off the original motor. So we'll go back with this as it is correct. So you just put your rods in your rod slots. Line your two slots up on the inside. I had one of my rods come out. That's the way it goes. And the camera fell over. How about that? Never happens, right? Okay. You know, I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. So it looks like it's been a little abused. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, that's much better. Could do it a little more. I think it'll be all right. Okay. Sometimes you're doing one way and then they get out of whack another way. There we go. So we'll slip our slots back in there again, slip it on, take this bulb out, move it out of our way. We get a hold of these tabs and we twist them. See if I can get that one a little better. You don't have a lot of room in there, so you can't get a really big twist on them. There we go. That's good and tight. This is one of the older bulbs. So it's kind of big around. Struggling with the light today for some reason. I have to put the bulb in first on this one. Okay. We just get our screws. Now someone had changed the screws to this one, to this engine at some time or another, to the floorway or to the star type screw. And I'm just going to put back in what they had originally. For now. Okay. And there it is. Now, as I said, this was an old abandoned engine, if you want to call it that. And I don't remember when I acquired it or how long I've had it, but I do know it's been sitting out there in my parts box for a while in my shelves. And I've been wanting to do it, but I've had so many other projects that I've never get around to it. Now I'm actually down to where these in my junk box were actually, I actually got one more Canadian Pacific that I have not done yet, and I'll probably do it in the next week or two. I really want to get back out there and work on that layout. I know I said that several times and I never seem to get out there. But now that I've got these two engines going, I want to get back out there and work on that layout. So finally, this is the tender. This is the original tender for this engine. Now, this tender was so scratched up. This is the original color and the sheen of the tender. And as you can see, there's still a few scratches, maybe. You can see that in this New York Central. So what I did was I was going to try to salvage it like it was with this original sheen, its original color. And it just would not work. So I went and bought, as I had mentioned earlier, when I touched this up, I found this really neat gold paint. And it almost matches the engine completely. And I took it, I masked this all off, and painted the shell. And I masked off the New York Central on both sides. I masked off the lines and the Marx symbol. And this line here and this line here, I did not mask over. I just went ahead and painted them and then put them back on my hand and touched these up, these stripes up. And that's it. Now I have a complete .396 engine in tender, matching, or as close to matching as they'll ever be. And there we go. Very pleased with it. Very pleased with the way it came out. That's all I have for you for today. If you have any questions or comments, this video seems a little dark for some reason or another, but if you have any questions or comments, please leave your comments in the comments section below, or you can email me at gman1924@hotmail.com. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video and the number of other videos that we have, please subscribe. You can do that below also. We need subscribers. And sorry about the long gaps, guys. I'm going to try to do better. It was my intention this year to put out at least 1 or 2 new videos every week, but it hasn't been able to be that way. But we're going to get back to where we're doing something else, and hopefully we'll have some new type things we can do. All right. That's all I have for you for today. This is GMan. As I always say, if you enjoy working on your trains, your layout, customizing, rebuilding, whatever it is that you do, just keep running those trains and you should have happy rails. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.